case research work was done by us.
So one question now, after the Supreme Court, now what happens? Okay, they said this is ultra virus constitution, whatever. So next thing, right? So will the government take their hands off the temples?
Good question, excellent question. There are a couple of challenges. Number one, the Chidambaram case specifically has said the way government appoints executive officer is illegal. Executive officers have been existing in temples for the last 30-40 years. So Supreme Court has very clearly said that if you appoint anybody as executive officer, you must have sufficient reason and you must justify. And then EO cannot continue for more than 3 years. No, we can go to all the temples the EOs are continuing for more than 3 years and ask the court to declare that appointment null and void. But this again requires fighting the government. So we have to go to court each time.
Yes, this is exactly maybe, I don't know whether I understood it correctly. Once something is settled at Supreme Court level, basically what I understand, you need to correct me, is government has no business. They need to simply go off what we need to do for the temple, now who is going to take the in charge, and they will make the decision. So if you keep going to the government and asking that, it will take a lot of time, energy, efforts of whatever sincere efforts you are putting. So that's what I want to know. So much energy and efforts are put, and we have won the case in the Supreme Court. So how soon and what exactly or at least being done, so the government doesn't come, because government, right, by nature, they are secular. They have, like you already explained this, they have no business and they have no idea what is temple is for, which we all personally experience and do everything, right? So they have no idea. So the first thing is how they will not be interfering with what should be done in the temple.
Good question. See, let me just take you back. The recent case you won for Chidambaram is specifically for Chidambaram.
Oh.
And the government said Chidambaram temple takeover is bad, and then along with it they passed this comment, the EO cannot be appointed for more than 3 years, etc. In fact, the landmark judgment in this regard was in 1954, which is called Lakshmindra Tirtha Swamigal case, LT Swamigal case, which is more famously known as Udupi case. In 1952, the government passed this Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Act in the then Madras state, which included Karnataka, Andhra, and parts of Kerala also. The moment this act was passed, the government immediately passed orders taking over Udupi Sri Krishna temple, the Guruvayur temple, and Chidambaram temple. The moment this was done, the Udupi temple and Chidambaram temple went to Supreme Court. Sri Krishna temple used strong arm tactics and told the government to stay away. So the government got cold feet and deleted the Sri Krishna temple. These two cases went to Supreme Court. In that judgment, Supreme Court said government cannot take over these temples, and they actually struck down some 10-15 sections of the act as being unconstitutional. So Lakshmi Tirtha Swamigal, who fought the case, he went back to Udupi. Chidambaram went back to Dikshitas. Things continued. Suddenly, after the state's reorganization, Tamil Nadu passed a new law, applicable only in Tamil Nadu, because by then Andhra had separated, Karnataka had separated, 1959 or something, 58, called TNHRNC Act, in which whatever was struck down by Supreme Court was reintroduced verbatim without changing a comma or a full stop. And yet nobody did anything about it. See, the courts can only pass, in fact, we had a legal symposium in Delhi. We organized a legal symposium where we said, what is the legal standing of government control of temples? What are the constitutional issues around government controlling temples? We had some of the eminent lawyers, Justice Rama Joyce, ex-High Court, and a very strong Hindutva voice, Aman Lekhi, Pinky Anand, many advocates smoke. Justice Kokje, Justice Srivatsa, most importantly, Justice Hegde, he said that I had the privilege of representing Lord Sri Rama in Allahabad High Court. But unfortunately, Lord Rama had no bank account. So, in that legal seminar, everybody said, look, the court can only play a limited role. And even going to court is fraught with dangers. It depends on who the bench is, how they view it. So, legal action alone cannot set right these misdeeds. There has to be community action. There has to be awareness. There has to be agitation. Hopefully, if our case on the TNHR is against basically the Supreme Court case filed by Swami Dhanananda Saraswati and Hindu Dharmacharya Sabha, if we are successful, that will be a landmark case which will make all the laws for temples unconstitutional. So, how do we manage the temples once the government goes out? So, a paper has been prepared by Justice Rama Joyce on alternative management structure. And Hindu Dharmacharya Sabha also says that we will manage the temple and hand it back, lay down the norms and hand it back to the community. Ultimately, the community has to manage it. So I thank you all for spending this evening and listening to me patiently.
How we from here can lend our support to your efforts?
We need resources. To file a case in Supreme Court costs us roughly about 30-40 lakhs. To engage proper professionals. At a high court level, it costs us 5 to 10 lakhs. To get an injunction, moment, for example, Jalgandheshwar temple. To fight, even when what happens, I was just having this
No,
discussion.
even Jalgandheshwar temple, it is not like a legal system one. It is a public works, created awareness consciously. That was, in that case, if you take Kribananda Warrior, very first time he collected lots of money, he tried to reopen the temple, not able to possible. It's because surrounding like around 200 villages, we created awareness, and that time luckily collector Gangappa was supported, and so many things it came together, it was possible. So
And it is the verge of being lost again.
yeah,
So out
So,
of the 30
it's not
lakhs for
legal
filing the case, most of them would go to the lawyers as law fees, right?
Yes.
Why can't these Hindutva supporting lawyers can give a discount on the fees? and help us?
We discussed this before you came.
Okay.
See, we hold a view that if you want to do something professionally, you must engage professionals.
Yes.
Absolutely.
People who come for ideology, ultimately they have to make a living, right?
Yeah.
And you won't get the best. So we have had experiences with Hindutva lawyers. We have very dedicated people. But what happens in Hindutva lawyers is, because of the ideology and because of their enthusiasm to support such, their own practice, which gets them make money, suffers. So we come in TWS, we strongly believe that any professional service required must pay for it. Starting from even the brochure or a seminar which you hold, to attract the best, we must attract the best and then pay them the money and get our work done.
So can we donate for the cause from here? Is it allowed?
I would, we're talking to Jana Kumar, we very much welcome resources from Bhaktas here. Currently, whatever TWS has done the last 3 years is basically the contribution of handful of people. And we have sustained it. Now we have to escalate it. Thank you very much. And Jana Kumar and others, we encourage you to form a local chapter of TWS. We have a website. We welcome some support to maintain the website also. Form your own chapter and collect the money, hold it in trust. And as even though we have some more legal steps, statutory steps we have to complete before we can get money from abroad. So once we complete it, we can transfer your money back there. So please hold it in trust, correct money, hold it in trust.
But I think we can encourage at the same time that, if the money can be sent from India, from families in India directly to GWS. That's possible. That
We
job
can,
is possible, right?
that'll be best.
So we
For-
all will have our account in Indian accounts also.
Yes.
Like our NRO accounts.
Yes.
From there, if he donates some amount, 4
Yes.
lakh or 2 lakh. So there should not be a problem in NRI related.
No.
So it will not be considered as a foreign aided fund also.
No.
So only if it directly transfer funds in dollars to you,
Yeah.
that may have some issues. Okay.
No, there's no issues there.
Okay.
Except that we have not gone to RBI and got a approval yet. We have been so preoccupied, just 4 or 5 of us.
Yeah.
The moving spirit behind this entire initiative is a person called Sundar Swami, who is the chairman of RK Swami BBDO. It's one of the top ad agencies. BBDO is a global ad agency. The subsidiary in India is called RK Swami BBDO. He, along with me, as an ex-city banker, and a couple more professionals, we are involved in this mostly now. We have great support from a professor from Kellogg School. Again, trying to support one initiative specifically, that the priest must get a proper review. They must, the same way that a priest in a Christian church is looked upon, same way our own temple service is looked upon with respect, and they must have the dignity. So the professor from Kellogg, I won't mention his name, he has sustained more than 50 dikshadars in the every month. He provides for their entire monthly consumption of household, because the cases are in the Supreme Court. The dikshadars had almost zero